The Big Mac. It's one of the most famous fast food items in the world, sold in over 100 countries. But here's the question. How much does it actually cost around the globe? In some places, you can grab one for the price of a bus ticket, while in others, it costs as much as a full meal at a sit-down restaurant. Today, we're going to look at the price of a Big Mac in 10 countries in 2025, and then I'll explain why economists actually use the Big Mac as a way to measure global currencies and the cost of living. Let's start in the United States, home of McDonald's and the Big Mac. In 2025, the average price of a Big Mac is about $5.50. This is the baseline that economists use to compare prices around the world, since it's where the burger was born. For most Americans, a Big Mac isn't cheap fast food anymore. It's a mid-range meal. Now let's go to Switzerland. Switzerland has consistently ranked as one of the most expensive places on earth to buy a Big Mac. In 2025, the average price is between $7 and $8. That's right. You could almost buy 3 Big Macs in India for the price of one in Zurich. Switzerland's strong currency, high wages, and expensive cost of living push the Big Mac to luxury levels. On the other end of the spectrum, let's look at India. In 2025, a Big Mac costs around $2.50 to $3. That makes it one of the cheapest places in the world to grab one. Interestingly, the Big Mac in India is often made with chicken instead of beef, because of cultural and religious preferences. Still, it shows how far your money goes in India compared to Europe or the US. Now let's talk about Turkey. Turkey has faced huge currency fluctuations in recent years, and that shows up in the Big Mac price. In 2025, a Big Mac costs only about $2 to $3. For travellers, that seems like a bargain, but it also reflects how much the Turkish lira has weakened against the dollar, making imported goods and global comparisons more complicated. Next up, Japan. Japan is known for its vending machines, sushi, and efficiency, but Big Macs are big business too. In Tokyo, a Big Mac will cost you around $4 in 2025. That's cheaper than the US, but still not at bargain levels. Japan's stable economy keeps the price moderate, making it more affordable than most of Western Europe, but pricier than many Asian countries. Now let's head to South Africa. In Johannesburg or Cape Town, a Big Mac in 2025 will cost you about $2.80 to $3.50. That's still affordable compared to Europe or the US. The South African rand has lost value over time, which keeps the local price lower in dollar terms, but for locals earning in rand, it's not necessarily cheap. How about the United Kingdom? In London, a Big Mac in 2025 costs around $5 to $5.50, or about £4. That puts it right around the US level, though Londoners would argue it feels a lot more expensive when you factor in the rising cost of living. Let's go south to Australia. Australia has one of the strongest cafe cultures in the world, but McDonald's is still popular. In 2025, a Big Mac costs around $5.50 to $6. That's similar to the US, but wages are higher in Australia, so in terms of affordability, it doesn't sting quite as much. Next up, Mexico. In Mexico City, the average cost of a Big Mac in 2025 is about $3.50 to $4. That's more affordable than the US, but still more expensive than some parts of Asia or Africa. With Mexico being a top travel destination, this makes it a fun and relatable benchmark for tourists, checking how far their money goes. Finally, let's stop in Brazil. In Sao Paulo or Rio, a Big Mac in 2025 costs about $4. Brazil has had ups and downs economically, but the burger sits in the middle range globally. Not cheap like India, not pricey like Switzerland. Right in the middle. So let's recap. In 2025, the cheapest Big Macs can be found in India, Turkey, and South Africa, where they cost around $2 to $3. Mid-range countries include Japan, Mexico, and Brazil at $3 to $4. The US, UK, and Australia sit higher at $5 to $6, and Switzerland is the most expensive of all at $7 to $8 per burger. But here's the twist. The Big Mac isn't just a burger. Economists actually use it to measure something called purchasing power parity, or PPP. This is known as the Big Mac Index. The idea is simple. Since a Big Mac is sold in most countries with the same ingredients, comparing its price around the world gives us a quick way to see if a currency is undervalued or overvalued against the US dollar. If a Big Mac is much cheaper in India than in the US, it suggests the Indian rupee is undervalued. If it's more expensive in Switzerland, it suggests the Swiss franc is overvalued. Of course, it's not perfect. Different costs like rent, labour, and transportation affect prices in each country. But the Big Mac Index has become a fun and surprisingly effective way to look at global economics in a way that everyone can understand. After all, it's easier to compare burgers than to read through a financial report. So next time you order a Big Mac, remember, you're not just eating fast food, you're holding a piece of global economics in your hands. The price of that burger tells you a story about wages, currency, and cost of living around the world. Which country's Big Mac price surprised you the most? Would you rather buy a $2 burger in South Africa or pay almost $8 in Switzerland? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this global price comparison, make sure to subscribe to Travel Finance World for more weekly insights into travel, money, and the real costs of living abroad. Until next time, keep travelling smart, enjoy your burger, and always keep your wallet global.